Good evening, everyone. Listening to this lecture. Welcome to the Daniel School of Politics and Governance. Um, it is a great honor to be here today to discuss an essential and very complex topic. This is a very major topic of discussion, within the African context. But bringing it down to Nigeria, we will be talking about, or I'll be lecturing this day on understanding the dynamics of politics in Nigeria. Very important. So this lecture aims to provide an overview of the multifaceted nature of the Nigerian politics, exploring its historical context, political structures, and key challenges. So let's embark on this journey to gain a deeper understanding of the political landscape in Nigeria. But before then, I'd like to just bring out a few things that I'll be talking about. I'll be delivering this lecture on the five different points, right? The first is the historical context. The second is the political structures and institutions of Nigeria. The third is the political parties and elections in Nigeria. And the fourth, the key challenges. And number five, which is the last thing we'll be talking about, is moving forward, right? So let's begin with the historical context of politics in Nigeria. We're going to be looking at two major part of our historical context. The first is the colonial legacy, and the second is the post-independence era or the post-colonial colonial legacy. So Nigeria's political landscape, to begin with, has been profoundly influenced by its colonial history. The British colonial rule, which lasted from the late 19th century, so until Nigeria's independence in 1960. This political system imposed artificial boundaries that group diverse ethnic groupings and cultural groupings in one entity called the Nigerian entity, of course. And so the colonial administration established a centralized system of governance that prioritized resource extraction over socio-economic development. So laying the foundation for regional disparities and ethnic tension is actually what came out of this contraption, came out of this arrangement. The second is the post-colonial era. And so it's very important for us to understand at this point that Nigeria gained independence on October 1st in 1960 with a parliamentary system modeled after the British system. And in the early post-independence politics, the politics of that time was characterized by religionism, ethnic divisions, and a struggle for power among the three dominant ethnic groups in Nigeria, which is the Hausa, the Fulani, the Hausa, the Igbos, and the Yorubas. The Hausa is dominantly from the north, the Igbos dominantly from the east, and the Yorubas dominantly from the south. And of course, in this time and age, you agree with me that there are other minority tribes in these three major regions of Nigeria that have been overshadowed by these three major tribes that I've just mentioned right now. So, talking about the post-colonial era, in the early post-independence politics were characterized by a high desire for, from these politicians to get into the position of power. So the First Republic was marked by political instability, culminating in a series of military coups that influenced military rule for much of Nigeria's post-independence history. As a matter of fact, Nigeria has a history of having ruled by the military for 29 good years, under the military rule. And I tell you, this has actually mad the Nigerian political system to a negative downline when it comes to development, when it comes to human capital development, infrastructural development, and what have you. The point I'm trying to say here is if Nigeria had experienced a smooth democracy from 1960 when she gained her independence and maintained that democratic system, Nigeria would have gone far, far, far farther than where she is right now. So the second point to look at here is the political structures and institution. And under this point, we'll be looking at three to four major subheadings. We're going to be looking at federalism, the presidency, the legislature, and the judiciary. So let's begin by federalism, right? So Nigeria operates a federal system, no doubt about that. It's a federal system of government which aims to to kind of balance power between the central government and 36 state plus the federal capital territory, of course, which is Abuja. So this structure is designed to accommodate Nigeria's ethnic complexity and regional diversity, but often leads to this often leads to tension, tension over resources, allocation, and state autonomy. The Niger Delta are talking about the fact that they need to control their resources. Other parts of the country are also talking about the need to control their resources. But resource control in Nigeria in recent times has always come from the Niger Delta, where the Nigerian oil is coming from, and this is what Nigerian economy is basically built upon. So, under the political structures and institution, the second point here is the presidency. I just explained the federal system of government that we need to, and that we run currently in Nigeria. The presidency is the second subheading here. And the president is both the head of state and government with significant executive power, no doubt about that. The president is elected for a for a 4 year term, which he can renew for another time, which gives him a maximum of 2 times, cumulatively 8 years in the presidency. So this centralized power in the presidency often create a strong executive branch that can overshadow other branches of government. The next point on the political structure of the institution is the legislature. So there are you've got the legislative arm of government. Nigeria has a bicameral legislature consisting of the Senate and the House of Representatives. The National Assembly is responsible for making laws. Of course, the National Assembly I'm talking about here comprises. That's why that's what is called the bicameral. It comprises the House of Representatives and the Senate House, right? And their major responsibilities to is to interpret laws, ensuring justice and upholding constitutions, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. However, it often faces challenges also related to independence and corruption. The third point in this lecture is the political parties and elections in Nigeria. Political parties, first of all, Nigeria's political landscape is dominated by two plus or minus one major parties. You've got the ruling party right now, which is the All Progressive Congress, and the People's Democratic Party, PDP. And in most recent time, a very tough fight from a party that came on board is, the Labour Party, which gives Nigeria the image of having three major parties. Now, these political parties in Nigeria are often criticized by expert development workers, and people and the civil society organizations, particularly. They often criticize the fact that Nigeria's political parties have no ideology on which they are built upon. And when you have a party that has no political ideology, anything goes. Ideologies are set of beliefs that a party is supposed to have. This set of beliefs are taught to the party members, to the political elites who are coming to seek for election under the platform of those parties. The political ideologies are given to them. They make sure they carry it, they believe in it, and on which on these political ideologies they are supposed to build their campaign, their mission, their visions for the people that they want to emancipate. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, Nigeria's political parties have no ideology. So these politicians that come on this platform just run and for whatever that will deceive the people or lure the people into voting them. Okay. The third subheading on this is elections. So elections, of course, carried out in Nigeria over a year ago. And then Nigeria went to the poll for the general elections that brought out the presidency, sorry, the president of Nigeria, the National Assembly members, and of course governors, and in most recent times, with the plan to conduct local government elections. So elections are a crucial aspect of Nigeria's democracy, providing a mechanism for political participation and leadership selection. However, elections in Nigeria are frequently marred by issues such as electoral fraud, vote buying, officials buying, violence, ballot box stealing, apathy, intimidation, which generally undermines the credibility and the legitimacy of this election. The fourth point that I have to talk about here in this lecture is the key challenges of the dynamics of Nigerian politics. Number one is ethnicity. Number two is religious division. Because Nigeria is a home for over 350 ethnic groupings and numerous religious affiliations, making ethnic and religious identities a very central part of our politics. The last general election, of course, if you're aware, who came on the platform of Muslim ticket. I mean, religion is so clearly entrenched in our election that politicians use it to either confuse the people or to win election or to lure the people to vote them. So the last general election from the ruling party came under the platform on with a slogan called the Muslim ticket, and what that actually did was to divide the Nigerian voters into two major sections: Christians and Muslims. And of course, the Muslim ticket won as we have today. But of course, when you look at the economic system of Nigeria right now, the economy of Nigeria, the growth of the economy of this country is trash. It's really trash. Nothing is working at the moment. This is leading us to the fact that there's corruption in the Nigerian system of government. Corruption remains a very pervasive issue in Nigerian politics, affecting all levels of government and undermining development. Monies meant for development, monies collected in the name of constituency development are carted away. They are stolen by individuals, through contracts, through constituency allowance, through by any means, inflation of contracts, inflation of salaries, what have you. People have stolen such monies, pocketed them, and they went scot free. Efforts to combat corruption right from the days of the former president of Nigeria, in the person of former, General Olusegun Obasanjo, have yielded mixed results, with many institutions still grappling with this systemic issues. Obasanjo set up the Economic Financial Crime Commission to combat corruption, and they started well. And along the line, we have seen so many things that have happened that we wonder whether EFCC is fighting corruption or not. So the reality is that security is also a challenge. Nigeria is actually facing a significant security challenge apart from corruption, including terrorism from groups like Boko Haram, the bandits in the northwest, the Niger Delta militias, communal clashes, and what have you. This security challenge is actually not only threaten lives and properties, but also hinder economic growth and political stability in the country. So this is the first part, second part, third part, and fourth part of the dynamics of the Nigerian politics. So what's the way forward when we talk about all those things? Moving forward, there's a need to strengthen the democratic institution of this country. For Nigeria's democracy to thrive, there's a need to strengthen democratic institution and ensure they operate independently and effectively. Reforms aimed at enhancing um, transparency, accountability, and public participation are very essential. Promoting inclusive governance is the third point I'm going to share here. Inclusive governance that accommodates Nigeria's diverse population can help mitigate ethnic religious tensions, and policies that promote equitable resource distribution and representation can foster national unity. How do we address corruption? Combating corruption requires a multifaceted approach, right? Including legal reforms, robust enforcement mechanism, and a cultural shift towards integrity and accountability. Civil society and the media play crucial roles in holding public officials accountable. I personally believe that leadership, with all those things that I'm saying, talking about the dynamics of the Nigerian system, democracy or governance or politics, leadership is everything for us here, right? In conclusion, I like to say that it is very important to understand the dynamics of politics in Nigeria, and to understand that it requires a comprehensive examination of its historical context, political structures, key challenges, and the interplay of various forces that shapes its political, landscape. So as we continue to explore this topic in subsequent lectures, I encourage you students to do go into further research, find out what's happening in your constituency. I encourage you to engage critically with these issues and consider how you can contribute to fostering a more stable, inclusive, and a democratic Nigeria. Thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to further discussions on this topic. I am ready to take your questions and answers. Thank you once again.